the Awaken Catholic Show. Yes, this is, if you were confused, this is the Awaken Catholic Show. I am your host, Nick De La Torre. Today, got a special guy with us here today. This is my brother in Christ, Mr. Nick Chapello.
Chapello.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
I was so nervous
Nick.
going into that. Nick Chapello, and you are with Biretta Books.
Biretta Books here at the conference today.
All right. We're going to be talking today about their mission as an organization, and also it's an order, right?
The Canons Regular of St. Cantius, located here in Chicago.
Okay, brilliant. And the mission here is to reclaim the sacred, or to how did you put it?
The motto is Institutione Sacra, restore the sacred.
Restoring the sacred.
And with smells and bells, as we classically
Love
say,
it.
and also the sacred in the person.
Oh, you're just talking my language, baby. You're talking my language. All of that, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Awaken Catholic Show, everyone. I am your host, Nick De La Torre. Before we dive into this important conversation about restoring the sacred with Mr. Nick Chapello from the Biretta Books organization and order, that's not what the order is called. We'll get into that. But I got to tell you that this episode, as well as our presence as Awaken Catholic here at the MOMENTUM '21 conference with the Catholic Marketing Network, all of this is made possible by Select International Tours. And if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, who in the world is Select International Tours? Don't worry about it. I got your back. I'm about to tell you who they are. They are the premier pilgrimage company in the United States, and they have chosen to partner with Awaken Catholic. And we, in response, have chosen to similarly partner with them because they're amazing people. They are so good at what they do, and they do it with love and passion in leading pilgrimages, partnering with different types of people like Awaken Catholic. And so we have 2 pilgrimages this year. If you'd like to join us in Paris and Lourdes and at the Holy Lands, please visit selectinternationaltours.com/awaken to learn more. And if you go there, you'll also be able to find other pilgrimages if neither of those 2 work out for you. But I would love for you to join me and my wife, Father Eric Schild, don't worry, you can walk past. I would love for you to join us in the Holy Land this year. selectinternationaltours.com/awaken. Brother Nick.
Nick.
How you doing, man?
Nick squared.
Yes, I got to tell you, I was thinking, and I don't know why this thought came across my mind, but you got a damn good name, sir.
Nicholas, the victor of the people.
Oh,
right?
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. I remember the first time I heard that, and I was just like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Everybody was victorious when you and I came into the world.
This segment brought by modesty.
Yes, we are. Yes, we're modest. Anyways, listen. Okay, let's just be real, folks. If you had our name, you'd be proud of it too. So let's talk about restoring the sacred.
Restoring the sacred.
Yeah. So what is the name of the order itself?
So the Canons Regular of St. Cantius. It's actually the first religious order in the Archdiocese of Chicago, founded in 1998.
Okay, let me regurgitate that for you. The Canons Regular of St. Cantius.
Not decaf, regular, right? There's a lot going on there.
Yes,
Canons
Regular.
Biretta. It sounds like we're dealing arms. I assure you, this is
seriously.
all legitimate. Homeland
Every
Security.
time I go to say it, I'm like, is that the right word?
I mean, it's a little bit butch, right?
Yeah, I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Canons. Canon means simply, it's a Greek word. It means rule, law, canon law, the canon of the Mass, canonical books of the Bible that some people say. So it's the canons. It's their rule. Regular. Again, that's from Latin, regulus, saying that they're following a religious rule of life of St. Cantius. So they live at the parish. They're not monks in a strict sense, where they're hidden away in an ivory tower and all that.
Right.
They do parish work.
Okay.
And again, 20 years old, young order. They follow the rule of St. Augustine.
Brilliant.
And
little spoiler alert. They made a book called The Rule of St. Augustine, as you were saying.
Yeah, kind of an exciting thing for us here in Chicago.
Yeah.
To have 24 guys dedicated to the restoring of the sacred.
Yeah, and there's a beautiful church. Is that connected to them?
That is their
St. Cantius?
mother house. They're at St. Cantius. They're in a couple of dioceses. They're in a couple locations in each diocese, but the mother house is St. John Cantius.
Okay, beautiful. And I've seen that there's a guy that we're good friends with here at Awaken Catholic. His name is Keith Nestor, a great evangelizer, great YouTube channel. If you're watching this and you've never seen his YouTube channel, go check it out, Keith Nestor. But anyways, he did a tour or a visit there to St. Cantius. So super cool, super beautiful. I wish we had time. Kevin and I were hoping to make time this week to get there, and our schedule just filled up like crazy. So very disappointed.
We'll make
about
time on location someday coming, right?
Yes, eventually.
Eventually.
Maybe not this week, but
Right.
eventually.
You let us know.
Wait, so are you there yourself?
I work there.
Oh,
I am the operations director for the parish, business manager. I also work for the order and Biretta Books. So they're getting their money's worth, I think.
Yeah, no
the
kidding.
Squeeze from the lemon, right?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so did I just say wow or well? No one will ever know. Anyways, so the first exposure I had to you guys was yesterday, and I think it was it you that came up to me and you showed this to me?
Your partner there said, "Hey, this guy's a big St. Augustine fan." So
He's
I said,
not
"Wait
wrong.
a minute, we got something for you."
Yeah.
We got something for you.
And here it is again. The rule of focus. The rule. No, come on now. You can do it. The rule. You know what it says. All right, the rule of St. Augustine. There it goes. And so he came up to me and showed this to me. Talk me through what this book is.
Well, it's a product that came to us out of necessity. Most of our products are out of necessity.
Sure.
The very first product Biretta Books ever made was a funeral pall. It's a black cloth that's put over traditionally the casket during the funeral mass. Unavailable.
Yeah, because I see white ones.
We needed to make one. Well, we needed one, so we had to make our own.
So that was the first product.
That was the very first product over
All right,
15 years ago.
So you, listener or viewer, one day when you die, your pall could be black too.
Well, one of the things is we needed the Rule of St. Augustine. A lot of people are familiar with the Rule of St. Benedict,
Yes.
right? Benedictine option and
Yes.
all that. Not so much the Rule of St. Augustine, which is pretty ancient. We needed it in Latin and in English for the novices of the order, so we produced it ourselves.
Really, you're saying the chumps. The English is for the chumps like me. No, but I love having the Latin there to go back and forth. Like I do have a very strong interest in acquainting myself more with the Latin prayers, and I think that's really beautiful that you
We
provide
have
that.
classes. We have a language program at St. John Cantius. We have Hebrew, Greek, and Latin.
Wow.
There's
Is there
several
anything
levels
you guys
of,
don't do?
There's a lot of work.
Yeah.
The church needs a lot of, what did our Lord say? There's a lot of labor and we need some workers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Interesting.
something like that. But
Yeah.
anyway.
It was along those lines.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so after the Paul, what came next?
Certain books. One of the things was the Latin Mass Companion we came up with recently to kind of help people walk through their experience visiting the ancient, extraordinary form of the Mass.
So I picked this up. I went to my first Latin Mass like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I loved it. It was beautiful.
You lived, you managed.
I survived.
No, did old ladies look at you with disapproval?
There actually is a really funny story about that. So I walk in, I'm feeling all insecure. The reason I had this opportunity is, I mean, obviously any of us at any given time have the opportunity to go to our first Latin Mass, but I had never made it a priority, even though it was always an interest of mine. So I get asked to come out and speak to this young adult group in Michigan, and as a part of their evening, they were going to pray the Mass, attend Mass there at the parish, and this is a Latin Mass parish. And so I was like, well, obviously I'm going to go, pray the Mass with you guys before I talk to you about Jesus. So I went, and I was a little bit trepidatious, not because I didn't want to be there, but more just I didn't want to mess up. And I'm sitting there. Everyone there that is super hardcore has got their own custom missals. They've all got their own thing going on, and I'm just like, cool. I'll just manage. and so the funny story is that I got there about 15 minutes early, so I'm sitting there. Praying or kneeling and praying, and the rosary ends, and I'm just kind of sitting there, and this very sweet old lady who I had sat in her pew, I thought that she got upset that I sat in her pew, because like a lot of people, like, this is my pew, this is my area. So literally, as I sat in the pew, she gets up very much immediately, and I'm just like, oh, it's like that, and she just literally walks out. And I was just like, what is happening right now? Like, what did I do?
It wasn't COVID.
It wasn't COVID.
It wasn't
This
COVID.
is a very non-COVID concerned parish.
Sure.
And so basically, I just go about my business. I'm sitting there praying more. And then all of a sudden, I feel a tap on my shoulder. And there's that sweet old lady who I thought was pissed about my very existence. And she's handing me a missal. Oh. She had gone out into the vestibule to get a missal for me because she could tell that I was not one of them. And
so she welcomed you, as we say.
Yeah, it was
right?
She accompanied you. It was a super sweet thing, and she didn't even ask, like, do you need a missal? She just saw I didn't have one, and I was looking around like an idiot, and so she was like, I'm gonna help this guy out. Yeah. And I went into it with all these assumptions.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, there's a little bit of a foreign aspect. First of all, it's in foreign, right?
Yes.
It's not most people's native language, a Latin language. And some of the gestures seem foreign. Some of the behavior seems foreign. I was just on the south side of Chicago, and we had a mass that was done, first time in 40 years. And we explained to the congregation what was happening. First of all, the priest, he's going to have his back to you. Okay, it's not disrespect, right? This is kind of like when you're in court and your attorney's talking to the judge.
Yeah.
But it's, in this case, it's the judge, right?
Right.
So, you know, the other thing, too, is the hang-up of missals and missalettes and what's the priest saying? Hey, he's doing the heavy lifting.
Right.
You can be there to pray.
Yeah.
To worship, to participate in any level you want.
Yeah.
And of course, so sensitive to that, we came up with this Latin Mass companion.
Yeah, I remember when you handed this to me yesterday, I'm looking at it and I was like, the Roman Rite of the Mass, extraordinary form. And I was looking at this and I was like, this is so much thinner than all the rest of the missals that I see people using. So I looked up at you and I held it up and I was like, sir, what is the difference between this and a missal? And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is such a dumb question.
About $55.
Yeah. No, but then all you did was you grabbed it, you handed it back to me, and you said, it's a missalette. it's a wee missal.
It's a wee little one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I love that you did that, and I'm excited. This is my first missal. So I'm definitely excited to dive back into another Latin Mass. And
we kind of had the idea of people in the congregation visiting. So maybe, and we priced it for bulk rates so that the different parishes can have them in the pew, ready for Mass. We also thought, okay, maybe that family of 14, Mama doesn't really want to spend money, $55, $60.
Well, they got to feed the 14 kids, or 12 kids at that point, yeah.
And half the time the kid's feeding on the $75 missal.
It ain't chip.
No,
it chip
so
cheap.
we can give 5 or 10 of them for the price of just a regular missal.
That's great.
And they're renewable.
That's beautiful.
So
yeah, and this is with the propers for Sundays and holy days.
Propers, the readings proper to that Mass.
Brilliant. Yeah, so you got all your Sundays and your holy days covered in this thing.
Yeah, and little cartoon side, not cartoon, but drawing illustration.
Illustration, yeah.
So you can follow Father and the acolyte through the Mass.
So what does a noob like me do with the rule of St. Augustine?
Well, it's for discernment of vocation. Actually, St. Augustine originally, when he wrote it for laity.
Okay.
It wasn't really intended for the holy religious. It was kind of like some guides that you should be living as a Christian. So
okay, so this is like, hey, if you wanna, is it like living like Augustine, or
it's living like a Christian? Augustine thought.
Okay, so Augustine's perspective on how we should live.
Well, Augustine was on the edge of the fall of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert: I'm not saying we are. I don't know. What do I know? But there's stuff you can maybe identify with. I certainly, so I'm not a religious. I'm a layman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a guy in the world,
Mm-hmm.
little maybe too much sometimes. Mm-hmm. But there's stuff in here that resonates, that I track with.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could read that and shave off some purgatory points.
I don't give out sentences. we only sell books, not indulgences.
That's
Sorry.
great. That's great.
Right.
So what is it that the order of Canons of
St. John Cantius.
yes, Gesundheit. What is it that they are doing to restore the sacred?
The liturgy, the public prayer of the church, the public cult of the true God.
Yeah.
I mean, just the language, think of it that way.
Yes.
Public worship of the Almighty, the Triune. We start with that and let everything trickle down. That's, I think, how Europe was civilized.
Yeah, just last night I was interviewing a guy called Seppi Seppi Kelly, and he's a young guy. And the topic of our conversation was about finding God's will. And one of the things that we talked about is that one of the major advantages, one of the major reasons that worship is healthy for us is that the act of worship keeps firmly in our minds that we are not God.
So there is a God and it ain't me.
Yes. And in worshiping, you're like living that out in a way that you can't forget that. So you're putting God where God belongs, and we are not God. And I think that is something I find so beautiful about the Latin Mass, the Latin liturgy, is that we it's so much reverence for the kingship and the lordship of God in a way that we've lost reverence in our world. We've lost reverence for the beautiful, the good, and the true, and we've lost reverence for God. We've lost reverence for even ourselves. You know, we have a sacred identity, a sacred dignity as sons and daughters of God, baptized, fully initiated Christians. Like, we are like so special, each one of us, right? Like Christopher West talks about how a lot of the Eastern cultures have something so right when their greeting to each other is to bow to each other, and I think that it's seeing the Christ in that person that makes it proper and beautiful.
Absolutely. St. Paul, doesn't he talk about holding our vessel with honor? So
yeah, absolutely. That's great. In fact, I was at an airport recently traveling for, I don't remember what, it was probably a talk or something. And at the airport, I was standing waiting for something. I think I was waiting for my wife to get out of the bathroom. And I see this nun walking by. And I should have mentioned this to Sister John Dominic, because it was a sister from her order.
Oh, yes.
Which I didn't know at the time, but so she...
Sisters of Life.
What?
Sisters of Life?
No, of Mary, Mother of the Eucharist.
Well, Mother Mary of the Eucharist.
Yeah. And so she's walking by, and I'm standing there, and she's, doing her thing, doesn't notice me. And then I just kind of said, "Hey, sister, thank you for your vocation." And she literally just turns to me and bows and says, "Thank you so much." And then she stayed and just asked me about me. And the weird part of that story was, like, when I told her my name, she was like, "Oh, I've heard of you." And I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
You're on her prayer list.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All the sisters of Mary, Mother of the Eucharist are like, "Lord, please save Nick." No, but it was just such a beautiful moment. And
you couldn't have that encounter unless she was in her uniform, right?
Yes.
So it mattered the way she was dressed.
Yes.
So it matters, wait a minute, if it matters that sisters dress that way, maybe it matters how I dress.
Yeah.
Wait, does it matter how I dress when I come to Mass? I don't know, I'm asking. I
yeah,
think St.
okay,
Augustine
come
said
on,
it.
you know that's rhetorical.
I know, we're playing.
You're being cheeky.
Well, I mean, St. Augustine covers it in the book. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
so,
awesome.
It's a very holistic way to look at life. It's organic.
Yeah.
It's all the things that I think some of the youth are craving for today.
Yeah, and then the dress question too. It makes me think about if something is precious to us, we care for it and we present it well. And when we are presenting ourselves to the Lord in Mass, are we presenting ourselves well? Like, do we understand what we're giving the Lord in that moment?
I'm presenting myself perhaps as a beach bum.
Right.
With shorts and flip-flops.
Yeah.
Maybe, put a tie on.
Yeah.
It is the King of Kings. And to your point, we should dress ourselves because we're worthy, maybe not worthy, but at least invited to the supper of the Lamb, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and we're definitely not worthy, but it is
speaking for myself too.
No, but it is a profound reality and gift that the Lord offers Himself to us despite our unworthiness. So yeah, awesome. So anything else about the order, about the organization?
It's 24 guys. This year we have 6 postulants seeking entry into the order.
Okay, awesome.
Pretty quickly growing.
That's great.
Our superior, their superior, he's 36 years old.
Wow.
At one time, he was the youngest religious superior in the Roman Catholic Church. So
And he's not anymore?
He aged a little bit.
Well, who beat him out, though?
I
Who's
don't
younger?
know. We haven't kept up on that.
Okay, all right.
We don't navigate that much. But, right? But it's kind of fun. I mean, it's fun for me to see that, well, that's where the kids are. This is, this is where the future is.
Yeah.
Guys who get it. This
Yeah.
isn't partisan. This isn't political. This is
Yeah.
people putting the tires to the road,
Yeah.
living the life, trying to do what they say and say what they do. So
Yeah, and there's what is attracting the youth right now is something transcendent.
something authentic, right? That's why
Yeah.
people are tattooing. They want something
Yeah.
permanent.
Yeah,
They need some. This is your fast food restaurants don't even last
yeah,
a couple financial circles on an intersection, right?
yeah.
We need some marriages, families. We need something permanent, and a lot of us, I can say, are blessed to have the opportunity of worshiping at a mass that's almost 2 millennia old.
yeah. That's absolutely amazing.
It's a way to ground ourselves into the past. Chesterton said, "Tradition's the democracy of the dead." Hey, this is the people's mass as much as kings.
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful. All
Very
right, where can
fortunate.
people find you?
you can look at Biretta Books.
Is it
.com.
.com? Okay,
Yeah,
cool. And
look
we'll
us
make
up.
sure to we'll have the links in the video description and show notes. Nick, any parting words, sir?
Peace and joy. Thank you for your time today,
those are good
and
words.
God bless.
Awesome, Nick. Thank you for joining me here on the Awaken Catholic Show.
Thank you, Nick.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Nick Chapello from Biretta Books and the Order of Canon of Monks of
St. John Cantius.
St. John Cantius. Dang it.
Just remember St. John Cantius. And by the way, we're having a book come out about his life pretty soon. So this guy, we can hardly remember how to say his name. Interesting character.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
that. That's awesome.
We'll send you one.
All right, thank you. Please do, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Awaken Catholic Show, and I have been Nick De La Torre. Thank you again, Nick, for joining me here today. And guys, if you want to learn more, you can find the links in the video description and the show notes. Also, if you want more of this Awaken Catholic Show business, visit theawakencatholicshow.com, and you can join the patron community for exclusive benefits. Also, make sure to check out theawakenapp.io, or just look for Awaken Catholic in your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store. But before I go, there's one thing I really need you to know, and that is that Jesus loves you.